Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Antonio with another episode of Thus Said the Lord unto me. So, such as I have, give I unto thee. How y'all doing today? I gotta admit, my sinuses is doing this little thing, but we're gonna press toward the mark, right? It's just what it's about. You know, it's about pressing toward the mark. Shout out to the general. For who that's for, you know who it is. Thank you. Yeah, we must be about our Father's business, and it's being instant in season and out of season. There's a number of things that was on my mind to talk about, and there's a lot of things that I don't even know if I want to get into. Not that the time is so limited, it's just my mental space to be able to articulate is limited, but I'm gonna let the Lord use me as He sees fit. I've been thinking about a lot of different things. First off, I have to admit that it's after you get to a certain place, this is not arrogant speaking. This is not me trying to, not ego or anything like that. This is just what it is. After a certain point in your life, you go to this place where now you don't fight. You don't fight the same way. It ain't the same kind of fight. Okay, that should go without saying. But the fight becomes internal. You internalize the fight. It's a war within yourself. It's no longer really fighting about the lust of the flesh or the lust of the eye. That's the easy stuff. That's the easy stuff. And first off, I need to say that's the easy stuff as long as you're submitted to the power of God. Okay, because it's not by might nor by power, but by His Spirit. It's Him that keeps you. Okay, but you get into this mental war when you get to be the lust, the pride of life. That is the one that, that's the real battle, because it sneak up on you. It's not the same. It's the most subtle of all of temptation. It's because it is what you deserve versus what God has said is your now. Anytime you get a thing before the time, it is gray in our understanding, but the reality is that it's still sin. Still sin, and I'll tell you why. Sin itself just means missing a mark. That's it. It means you pull back the bow, you shot the arrow, and you missed. If you shoot the target too soon, still miss the target if it's not on time. So a lot of times we fight with the is it now, Lord? Is it now? May I eat my my dessert now? And you're waiting. And it's a waiting. And it is a process. And it is hard. And your enemy, that roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, is taunting you, trying to get you to eat now, trying to get you to take now, get your happiness now. You don't have to wait on it. You can, you don't have to settle for this. You can reach over there to that. So you're in this internal battle, and like a good sister said earlier today, it's a distraction. A lot of times it's a distraction because you got a job to do. Being about your Father's business is a job. It's showing up to work on time, and you can't be playing with this, that, or the other in the process of getting where you're trying to go to. I know I sound like I'm all over the place, but I am going somewhere. It's just me trying to figure out how I'm gonna get there. There's Yeah, I guess I'll touch this. No, I won't. Can't touch that now. There's a process. There's a building. God has us working on an objective for the sake of the kingdom, and we have to get ourselves out of the way. That's where you get into the pride of life, because at the end of the day, isn't this what I deserve? Isn't this my reward? See, let me explain the reward. It is what the world understands about reward is that this is the work of my labor. This is the reward of my labor. This is what I've worked for. This isn't something that's being given because I didn't earn it, but this is my reward for what I earned. Now, here's the problem with that. Do you take that now? What about when he tells you to wait? You see, there's a point where you need to be still and wait. And again, the waiting is hard. That's what we're tested. We're tested in the point of, do you take the thing now? Now, if you get it now in your now and it ain't his now, you'll lose it. You'll lose it. Ultimately, you're going to do something along the way that's going to mess it up, or it's going to do something along the way that's going to mess it up, or whatever. That's what it comes down to. So you have to be in alignment with the Lord. It is in being in harmony. It's harmony, musical note harmony, which is one accord. It is being in one accord with the Lord. It's hard to go here. It's hard to do this, because there is it's a preparation for our future. It's a preparation for what is to come. He's putting us in alignment to be able to do certain things and certain tasks at the time that is called for. The best way to put it is like this. Moses, as a baby, was taken out of the house and put in an ark and sent down the Nile River. The reason behind that was because at the time they were basically trying to, I hate to use this term, but it was a culling, culling. Okay, they was trying to kill the males at that time of the children of Israel, to try to keep them from overpopulation. Okay, because Pharaoh was trying to keep down the number of slaves. Now remember, this is the place that God brought us in the first place. Yeah, remember, you forget Joseph? That's how we got there. We got there by Joseph. It was him taking care of Egypt and the rest of the nations, by him and his dreams and his ability to articulate the wealth of Egypt and to divide the pie, to be able to keep back in the 7 years of plenty versus the 7 years of lack. So, which 7 just means complete. So it's the complete years of this and the complete years of that, until it was done. In other words, until God said it was done. But it was in that we got there in the first place. And now Pharaoh is killing the firstborn and all the children, culling the children of the firstborn. Anyway, Miriam followed him down the Nile as a child. We assume she was a child. She might have been a teenager. She might have been a young adult. We don't know. We just know that was his older sister. And, it's interesting that her name actually means Sea of Sorrows. It's horrible. She watched her brother being sent down the Nile in a ark, which also at the time could have been seen as clearly as a coffin. that was pitched within and without. And then to be drawn forth at the appointed time by the daughter of Pharaoh. I don't think it was the daughter of Pharaoh. It might have been the niece, I'm not sure, but it was one of the daughters of the Pharaoh. But then it was at the exact timing. It's the same in the reiteration of the ark of Noah. And that it was at its exact time that it was time for the flood waters to cease. And, it was pitched within and without. It was drawn forth at its time. And you couldn't get out unless God opened the door. On both ways. But it's all in God's timing. And I think that that's what this is. It's about God's timing. And not to be distracted in the process of his timing. I'm not relaying this message to you really so much, or to you all so much, as I'm relaying it back to myself. Because trust and believe that there is an attack against myself in the process of why I'm still doing what I'm doing, and why I'm still pressing toward the mark, and why am I still fighting the good fight, in spite of the fact that I can't see the victory at hand, in spite of the fact that I have to continually keep my mind in perfect peace by keeping my mind stayed on him, in order to be able to get up every morning and say, it's worth it. I see legacy. I see that this is bigger than me. But it's in the remembrance that it ain't about me, and that I'm just a vessel. Again, as I said in the very beginning, I'm just a vessel to be used as God sees fit. And I say yes. I say yes. What does that mean? What does that sacrifice look like? It means that you lose the things that sometimes, and it's really not. Sometimes we like to sugarcoat it and say you didn't really lose it. It was just, it's just for a different time. But I don't know. I don't know whether or not that's the case or not. I just been about my Father's business for a minute. So this is not a woe is me. This is like I said, this is an encouragement to keep pressing toward the mark, because at the end of the day, this is about his will being done on the earth. This is about him getting the glory out of the life of the individual that he sent. So may he be glorified. And may I be obedient. May we be obedient. Kind of heavy, right? Feel that. It is. Yeah, it was like a little wake-up call, like, come on, I need you to get moving. What are you doing? So with that being said, I just want to say, stay encouraged. Know that he's with you. I listen to some of these messages, and I question whether or not it reminds me of being a child. My mom used to tell me, when I was little, to be kind and be nice to people. First scripture she ever taught me was Romans 12:21. So the thing is that she said, be kind to people because you never know, and I'm like, never know what? And she'd say the scripture that says, that we may entertain angels unawares, and it reminds me of that, because you guys are, some of y'all are amazing. Ministry is amazing. The words that come out of your mouth and a lot of the revelation that you're speaking and stuff that hasn't even been spoken yet, hasn't been brought out yet. There's certain stuff that I'm just listening to and I'm like, Lord, what you call me for? You know, because it's just, yeah. So I just have to salute those that are, because you can't get that unless you sit in his presence. See, I know that there's a cost. There's a cost for the oil. There's a cost. You have to get crushed in order to be able to receive wine. You have to be crushed in order to receive that oil. And you didn't get that. You can't fake that. But you can try to steal it. You can steal it, you know, take it from this person's message or something like that. But you can't. There's some stuff you just can't. You can't know unless you go. You know. So yeah, I honor you. You know, because I know there was a cost for that oil. I know there was a cost. How long you have to sit in the presence just to be able to receive that. You know. And I don't take that for granted. So to be able to receive that and to be able to hear it, I appreciate you. You know, may the Lord use me mightily to pour back that which He's given me. That maybe I might bring some kind of light to darkness in somebody's life. But you know, I'm like I said, I'm just trying to be. I'm just checking in. I'm just checking in. I love you with the love of the Lord. Y'all be blessed out here. I am smiling in my spirit. I'm not angry or anything like that. I make sure I put out all these disclaimers so y'all understand I'm not out here just angry, mean mugging folks and upset. Nah, I'm not. I'm just looking up. You know, there's a level of frustration in your wait because you're waiting on the blueprints. You need the plans. You're like, okay, so we got this far, so what we doing next? You know, and when he don't say nothing, it don't mean that he didn't move. He didn't hear you. It just means it's not time yet. It's like my bishop said, it's like the GPS in the car. You know, it only speaks when it's time for a turn. It only speaks when it's time to do something different than keep straight. So it's kind of like that, you know. So that's why I said I don't see how some of y'all get to talking to him like it's Chatty Cathy. I wish, you know, I get a little jealous because I don't hear him like that, you know. But maybe it's for me to be able to reverence his voice so much so because when I do hear it, it's clarity. It's like crystal. You know, but it's not as often. So understand you got a gift. Don't think that my gift is the same as yours. It's not. You know, a king needed the prophet. A king needed the prophet. You know, needed the prophet so much so Saul went out to go seek after the prophet, even if he had to use a witch to do it. How crazy is that, right? And you know, and I don't condone that. So make sure I say that now ahead of time. Witchcraft is satanic. That level of rebellion is satanic. Is using demonic power, you know, to manipulate God's will. You understand? And when I say manipulate God's will, it's not there. It's I don't know how to explain that. It's like money, you know. It's there, but everybody don't have access to it because everybody's not supposed to have access to it. Those that were created in divine nature has access to it because they were created in divine nature, and they have a consequence behind that. So I don't want their consequence. And that's what hell is. Hell is their consequence. It's not ours. It's their consequence. And because it's their consequence, they taking us with them. You know, that was what it is. It's like, oh, don't they deserve it too? You know, this is your precious creation, Lord. Don't they deserve it? That's what the accuser does. That's the whole point. So hell was not created for us. But she getting bigger because she enlarging herself. So at the end of the day, leave that stuff alone. All that, yeah. If you ain't know, you need to get, this is the get right. Get right. Get it right. Yeah, you know what, I'm stumbling and stuttering because there's not really anything to say behind that. You know, I think that I've said it already in the other videos, but yeah, that's not, we don't move like that for a reason. You know, I'm a child of God. Why would I go through this life and experience the heartache and the pain and the struggle, all of that, just to go to hell in the end? That's foolishness. That's foolishness. So, you know, that's that. Anyway, I'm done. I'm just rambling. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. I love you with the love of Christ. I really do. I really do. I really honor you guys. You know, I may not say it in your videos, and sometimes I might, you know, like I said, I use another. I use my name, but I use another access point. It's not to this channel. It's to, you know, it's just a dummy, basically, because I don't want to. I'm not speaking to you because I want people to follow my channel or nothing like that. See, it takes away the motive. You know, it really means thank you. It means really your message was on fire, and I love you with the love of Christ, and so on and so forth. So this is not, I don't know. You know, this real recognize real. So when you in this world and you deal with people and you know they got ulterior motives and all this extra stuff. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about money, and it was about this very thing. It's like, you know, just got to be careful with what you say, because you got people who will manipulate you because of what they think you have. You know, so just, I don't know. For me, that's what it is. There's not too many genuine people in the world. That's all. That's it. So, anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Be blessed. I know I was all over the place. Forgive me, but like I said, this was just me stepping in just to put in a little check-in and show some love. That's about it. This is just what's been going on in my head, what we've been talking about. You know, it's been a question of, Lord, what we doing? That's it. Lord, what we doing? Where we going? You know, what's next? How we getting there? All them questions that, you know, the kids say in the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Yeah, it's like that. You know, but we are children. We are his children. He has expectation that we would do just that, because he gave us the inquisitive mind to want to know. And yeah, but he also blesses us with not knowing sometimes, because he don't want us to mess it up. Because if you know you're going to reach for something that you shouldn't reach for at this time, because you can't sustain it. So yeah, I said a whole lot. That's a whole word right there. And I'm going to leave it on that. So whoever that's for to pick that up, pick it up and run with it. Anyway, again, love y'all. I'm out. For real this time.